Yes, the Headbangers Ball is coming to you from the Donington Monsters of Rock Festival, taking place at Castle Donington in England. Now, the festival is in its 12th year, and 1992 sees the return to a 6-act bill, and also the return of headliners Iron Maiden, who first topped the bill here in 1988. Now, before we meet up with the opening band, the Almighty, here's a bit of an insight into what makes Donington the world's most prestigious rock festival.
I just got to go down to the bands that play and the people that stand out there and listen to the bands and watch the bands. It's a pilgrimage. A lot of people have been here for a week, a holiday. You told me. In 1980, I never thought we'd be here in 1992.
This thing, without a doubt, is the annual Woodstock. And although there are other festivals in the world, the attention is here. And you can do as much in one show here as it take you 6 months to do around the rest of the world. So in comparison, there's really nothing else like it.
There's a big vibe. I mean, there's this big air of expectation. And it brings the best out of everybody. It brings the best out in the bands. I mean, not just Maiden, but all the other bands on the bill. I mean, I've been driving up in the car today and listening to it live on the radio, and you know, everybody was. I mean, I've got like a posse in the car with me. I've got 8 people in the car with me, and well, the truck actually, I should say, and everybody's going, oh, that's that. Oh, God, they sound really good, don't they? You know, and stuff. So that's excellent that it's getting, and it's what a festival should do, is expose bands like the Almighty, for example, and W.A.S.P and people like that to a huge audience all at one time.
Donington's just the main event of the year in the heavy metal calendar in Britain. Has been now for over 10 years, and despite the fact that it normally rains, it's still the best day out.
The whole atmosphere and everything, from the tents, people camping, setting fire to the tents, blowing up the cars, macheting each other, and just general getting drunk. It's just one great day.
We couldn't say no, you know, because it means a lot. So, yeah, that's why I'm standing here talking to you in the fucking cold.
Well, it's just built itself a reputation over the past, I know it's been going for 12 years now. And it's known all over the world, and it's like people come here no matter what band is playing, just to hang out, drink beer and have a good time. And that's what it's all about.
Donington this year, it's actually a strange bill. On paper, it shouldn't in theory work, because the Almighty opening, great, terrific British band, come through, build up the fangs, amazing band, followed by W.A.S.P, great contrast. You then go to Slayer. Now, Slayer will come out and do what Slayer have always done. Thunder, whose job I don't envy, having to follow Slayer. Then Skid Row having to follow Thunder, again a British band with an album due out on Monday. That should be fun. Skid Row, who will come out and do, because it's a one-off for them, they've been on tour in America, fun. And then Maiden, who are right at the top, having to follow that lot, and in a sense have got everything to prove and everything to lose. Very strange, very interesting, should be fun.
Yes, you should realise by now the Headbangers Ball is coming to you from the world-famous Donington Monsters of Rock Festival. And the event's been going 12 years, and over that period it's gained a reputation of either making or breaking up-and-coming new bands. And first up tonight, I'm joined by the band who had the unenviable task of opening the show and making their debut at Donington, and that is British rock band The Almighty. And I'm joined by Ricky and Stump.
Hello,
Hi.
How are you?
You always ask me that. I want to know. You were on stage about an hour ago. How did it go?
It was unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
It's unbelievable. It was. We had expectations of what the show was going to be like. You know, obviously before we did it, but it surpassed that in every way. We played really well. The sound on stage was great. The amount of kids that were getting into it, and you know, I mean, what can you say? It was just unreal. It was brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant.
So you had time to enjoy it?
We did have time. It was too much time. 4 minutes, too much time. Yeah. I mean, we thought the half an hour was going to fly in, but personally myself, once we got into like 3 songs in, kind of settled down. It was really good. Very enjoyable.
I mean, making albums is great. Seeing your singles, your albums do well is great. But today just was better than anything.
The greatest show on earth.
Because you've been coming here as fans for years, so this must be like a fulfillment of a huge ambition.
I first came here in like '88, and we just started the Almighty. We were like 4 or 5 months old. And I stood in the mud and watched Guns N' Roses, saw them for the first time, and watched Maiden and Megadeth and all. I thought, oh, what I'd give for the Almighty to play there one day. And 4 years later, we're opening it up, and it's unreal. It's brilliant.
Well, congratulations to all of you.
Thank you.
Now, I will. How are you guys going to spend the rest of the day, if you can actually tell me that? And are there any bands that you're particularly looking forward to seeing?
Well, we did a show in Mannheim last Saturday. And the bill was slightly different, but I mean, I love all the bands in the bill. I think Stompy's a big fan of them too. We watched Slayer last Saturday, who were brilliant. Yeah. I'm really looking forward to seeing Skid Row. I'm really looking forward to seeing Thunder and hearing the new stuff. We saw Maiden last Saturday. They were brilliant. So we're gonna. I mean, it's like we want to see every band.
Everything is totally brilliant.
People keep interviewing us, so we can't see it. No, we want to see it. It's the greatest bill we could have been on. We're really, really honoured to like open it up and. You know, there's not a band in the bill we don't like.
Good. Now you've acquired a new guitarist, Pete Friesen, who used to play with Alice Cooper. He's around here somewhere. What has Pete contributed to the band so far?
Nice boots. Nice boots. A lot of corny Canadian jokes. He's brilliant. You know, he's come in and he's really into the whole thing, attitude-wise and energy-wise, and you know, it's what we liked before. It was always me stomping Floyd, and Tantrum never really got into the vibe of it. It never felt like 4 people really going for the same goal. Now it is. We hang out together, we party together, you know, and it's just the vibe now. It's just like it was when we first started. It's really exciting, and can I say it's great.
Drive me fucking crazy, won't you take me high? Let's do this together. It's more fun that way. I said you drive me fucking crazy. Said you drive me fucking crazy. I said you drive me fucking crazy. Said you fucking drive me crazy. And sing wild and wonderful. Wild and eat my chum. Late at night, light in her haze. Think about her and all the things that she says. Think about sex and sex. Give me some loving, my sweet honey child. Come on and give me some loving. Give me some loving. Give me some loving. Give me some loving. Yeah. Wild, wild and wonderful. Wild, wild and wonderful.
We've got a few more moments to talk to the Almighty, the band opening up this 1992 Donington Monsters of Rock, and as well as Ricky and Stump, who were with me before. In fact, we've got the whole band here because Floyd and Peter here too. Now, you guys played an Australian tour and then Super Rock in Mannheim before coming to Donington. How did that kind of prepare you for this, the biggest of your life?
We thought it prepared us really, really well until we actually got here, and then we thought it hasn't really prepared us at all because, you know, this is Donington and nothing compares to Donington. What a cliche.
But obviously it helped to get Pete integrated into the band, right?
Definitely, yeah. He can play now. He couldn't play before, but he can play now after 6 weeks in Australia.
For my own personal, let me speak for myself here. Australia was great because it basically got me very much at home with the songs, and we played sweaty pubs for like 6 weeks, and that got us tight. And then, you know, basically we walked on stage at Donington, I crapped my pants and it all went out the window.
I actually felt really, it was pretty strange saying it just Pete today to the British crowd, because we feel as if he's been in the band for like 3 years. It feels as if he's been in the band for too long. It's like for like 3 years or 4 years, you know, and it's like, really this was the first, you know, first time a British kid's actually seen us play with Pete, and it was like, it was strange because we've done like over 40, 50 shows with the guy now in Australia, and it's just brilliant, it's great.
All I gotta say is British fans rule. Best.
Now you played a new song called Addiction. Now how are you getting on with the writing for your next album? Is that kind of indicative of the new material?
It's a very good indication of the way the Almighty are going. We wrote maybe half a dozen songs before we went to Australia. The idea was to write on the road in Australia, which proved difficult because, you know, we were 6 weeks there, we'd 6 shows a week, a day off, and that day off was like a drive of 600-700 miles, and it was impossible, you know, to write. But we got a lot of ideas, and now Donington's really it. We'll sit back now, take a few days off, and you know, start writing again.
Start again. Yeah. I mean, do you think that there'll be a much more noticeable change in the style between Soul Destruction and your third album than there was between the first and second album?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's new blood in the band, and somebody that comes in fresh with fresh ideas and a different attitude and a different opinion is obviously going to make a difference, but it's going to make a difference in all the right ways. You know, me, Stump and Floyd have always had a good idea of what we wanted and what we wanted to achieve, and Tantrum never really shared that ideal, whereas Pete just came in straight away, thinks along the same lines, writes riffs and stuff that we can really relate to and we really dig, and it's the vibe now is the best it's ever been, you know.
I guess there must be a lot of pressures on you for the next album. Which ones are you aware of the most?
Just
money.
No, not money at all. To do with our fans, we have to please our fans that we already have, as well as attract new ones as well, you know. I think that's sort of plus enjoy ourselves writing music. We have to write music that we please ourselves, you know. as long as we do all that, then I'll be happy anyway.
And now that you've played Donington, can you only see as far as the next album, or can you see beyond that as well?
Well, I mean, speaking for me personally, that's all I want to see is I just want to concentrate now on writing the best songs that we can and recording the best album that we can, and then I'll take it from there. You know, obviously, when it comes out next year, we want to go out on the road for as long as possible, and you know, it's great. I feel as if we just started again. But we've had the added advantage of a huge fan base and a couple of 100,000 albums behind us, which helps a bit, but you know.
Well, congratulations to all of you. That was a totally brilliant debut here at Donington. I know I'm biased, but who cares?
Just
and welcome back to Headbangers Ball. Unfortunately, the weather has deteriorated outside, so we've come backstage and it's time to meet the second of our 6 featured Donington bands. And in fact, I'm joined by Blackie Lawless from W.A.S.P, and it's very nice to see you again on Headbangers Ball. Blackie, how are you?
Shucks, ma'am, thanks.
Now,
Just make me blush.
straight to the Donington questions. You came off stage about an hour ago, and of course you have played here before, but today I think it's safe to say under very different circumstances. How do you feel about W.A.S.P in 1992?
Well, I've played this place twice now. This is the second time, but this is the 4th time I've been here. And somebody asked me, what's it like? You know, I said, have you been here before? I said, I'm getting ready to take one of these trailers and just move into it. Next year, I'm going to be out here doing concessions and all that stuff. As far as the band now, my philosophies has changed on life. I mean, I've really changed a lot. And the things that I moved from California to Arizona, and I'm very much into Indian culture now and stuff. And it's changed me as a person, so therefore it's going to change the things that I write about. And I've always been a political radical at heart. And the thing that I think that I do best, I mean, the greatest gift that I have is not the talent to sing or play or whatever, it's to communicate to people. And the best thing that I can do is to use that platform that I have to say things. I mean, rock and roll originally was designed to be about anarchy and revolution, and when you see something wrong, you say something about it. And the problem is with most bands now, they're singing about their girlfriend's red high heel shoes, and that don't really make it as far as I'm concerned. A little bit of that goes a long way.
Okay, but the stage show is obviously very different this time.
Well, we're not near as animated as we once were, because like I said, people before, they were listening with their eyes and not their ears, and if you want people to hear a message, sometimes you got to take it to them direct. And that's probably the biggest difference between now and then.
Okay. Do you believe that you have as much to prove today or as you did when W.A.S.P debuted here in 1987?
No, because I was talking about a change in philosophy, and the only thing I got to prove anything to, only person I have to prove anything to is myself, you know, because if I'm going to be my own worst critic, then probably people will be happy with whatever you do after that, you know. It's like if you're really, really critical with yourself, and I tell you, I've done more to put myself into a grave making this record than any other one I'd ever done before, so as I think about it at the end of the day, I go, you know, is it really that important or not? But one thing I do know is that records are like little time capsules, and they should be the best that they can be, because after they're done, you can't change them, and they're going to be there forever, you know. And it, like, when an artist takes a journey, we all take journeys through life, all humans, but when an artist takes that journey, he leaves his works by the roadside as byproducts of what he was, you know. And when he does that, you should be able to look back at his career and say, that's what he was thinking. That's where he was in his life at that point, and I really think that's what records are for. So they should be the best that you can make.
Absolutely. I mean, do you feel that there's more pressure on you now that you're the focal point of the band, or is it still important to you that W.A.S.P is seen as a band?
W.A.S.P are an idea, and Johnny Rod, who is the bass player, has been with me since '86, so there's more collaboration going on there than people might think. So I don't really feel that calling me a focal point or anything like that is really being honest, number one, or doing justice to the other people that are there. So if that's the way people want to perceive it, that's fine, but that's not the way we see it.
Ooh.
talk some more about the Crimson Idol, because I haven't really had a chance to talk to you in depth about it until now. We know that it's the story of Jonathan, and people are calling it a concept album. Did you find it easier to write to a concept rather than just like individual songs?
It's really difficult, and I'll tell you why. Because when you do a traditional album, you have the luxury of recording songs and you put them all together, and when they're done you create a running order at the end of that, you know, and if you don't like that running order you can change it. One of the things that I quickly learned was that when you do something like this, you write the story first and then you've got music on the side, but you can't really put the music in because you don't know where it's going to go yet, because the one thing I'm thinking in the back of my mind is remember the flow. It's got to, the running order's got to be right, because when you get done you put all the elements together. If the flow is not right or the running order is not right, you got to tear it down and start all over again. And after 2 years of building that wall, no thank you, I had no desire to do that. So I said, okay, this has got to be done methodically. Doing a record like this is compared to a regular album is a day at the beach compared to this. This took a lot out of me. And I wrote Pete Townsend a letter the other day because I told him before I started this album what I wanted to do and what the story was about and all that, and he pretty much patted me on the back and said, yeah, I think it's a good idea. But one thing I did not know was that when it was over, how it was going to change me. And when you live with a character, see, there's 9 characters in the story of the Crimson Idol, and you don't just put a name on somebody and expect them to be real. You got to give them all a heart and soul and a mind and a personality and everything. I mean, to me, they were very real. And when you see the pain that someone goes through in a story like this, it'll put you through changes as well. So the letter that I wrote to him the other day, I says, obviously you have been through this before, but I had not. I said, this took me on a journey, a very bizarre journey, one that I'm not sure that I want to repeat again because of what it did to me. It's like I said, when you deal with a depressing subject day in and day out, and that boy became as real to me as you're sitting here in front of me now, it'll do a number on you.
on the album you played most of the instruments, you produced it yourself, and you took a great deal of time over it, as we were saying. How did you manage to keep your objectivity throughout that?
That is the single hardest thing to do, is because when you don't have a sounding board, say another producer or something like that, it's really, really tough. So what you do is, which is one of the reasons it took so long to record it. If I would have known what I know now, I could have recorded the record in less than 6 months. But when you don't know what you're doing, you have to it's like building a wall, and you take one block and you put it up, and you got to back off, and you look at it and you go, okay, that one's all right, and you put another one up, and it's very slow and very methodical, and it's very, very painstaking, because I'm the kind of person that, I mean, as with everybody else in this generation, you want everything done yesterday, it's like, let's hurry up and get it done, it's like, but it does not work with this. You've got to do it slowly, because like, as we were talking before, when you get to the end of it, if it's not right, you've got to tear it all down and start all over again. There was no way I was even thinking about that. I mean, with the time is one thing, but the money that it took to do this is just like, I would have been on the soup line after this. It was enormously expensive to do.
So it's just as well you had your own studio, really.
Well, that's what I did, though, is I built the studio before I did that, because everybody said, okay, what took so long to do this? All right, the last tour, the Headless Children tour, ended in September of '89. I went to Mexico for about 2 weeks and just laid around and contemplated my life and what I was going to do. And I said, okay, I'm going to build a studio, which I eventually ended up being called Fort Apache. Now, one thing that I did not take in consideration is that you can record in studios till you're blue in the face all over the world, but until you build one, you have no idea what's involved. I mean, it's like there's a lot of legwork that has to be done. It took 9 months to build the studio. I figured it'd take 2 months. So I'm off the mark there. Then I get into the storyline, and the story took a year to write. So I'm writing the story while the studio is being built. Now, in the meantime, I'm writing music, but like I said before, I don't know where the music's going to go because the story's not finished yet. So it's just, I mean, it's tough. It's really complicated. And if I would have known what I know now, I put myself on a 3-year kamikaze course to do it, but I can tell you,
Well, basically, every single aspect of this album has been like a tremendous learning process for you, hasn't it?
Nothing that I did on this record was like anything I had ever done before. And one thing I will say is that if I do another record like this, which I probably will in the future, that I've got some of the formula down of how you have to go about it. But it's like, turning somebody loose, in the desert and say, find your way without a road map. It's like, okay, where do I start, And you start calling on every ounce of experience that you've ever garnered or accumulated, and it's tough.
And the moral of the story is be careful what you wish for. Does that in any way apply to your own life?
Well, yeah, because like so many times, we think we want things and we don't, we finally get it and we go, well, this is what I thought it was going to be, which is this boy's quest is like, he's like standing at the foot of the mountain and he's miserable. He hates his life, hates his parents, hates everything, But he's looking up the mountain. He's thinking to himself, well, if I get up there, I'll be all right, Well, he struggles and he finally gets there. The one thing he doesn't plan on is that once he gets there, he's still miserable. And in reality, he was better off when he was down at the foot of the mountain because he was miserable there too, but at least he had somewhere to go. Now he's on top and he's still in trouble, and there's only one way out for him.
Which best to listen to the album and find out. And very quickly, would you like to be able to perform this album in its entirety, rather like Queensryche did with Operation Mindcrime, with all the visuals and stuff?
We will. We've already shot the story in movie form with all 9 characters in it, so they will see that when we perform it live. When we come back to start our own proper tour, which starts at the end of September here in Europe, we will do the record in its entirety from beginning to end.
Brilliant. Oh, well, I shall really look forward to that. Okay, well, thank you very much for taking time out to talk to me. It's so interesting. I've got 10 more questions, but we are running out of time. We've got Slayer coming up for you on the Headbangers Ball, but right now we are going to see more of W.A.S.P's absolutely blistering live performance here at Donington. Check this out.
You say you don't wanna run now, but you said no one knows. Everyone you meet, you're gonna sell. You're nobody's friend, nobody's dreams are holding you. You hold your fist up high,
Yes, the Headbangers Ball is rocking backstage at the Donington Monsters of Rock, and a little earlier there you just saw W.A.S.P. We are moving up the bill, all 6 bands featured, and now it's time to meet Slayer. And I'm joined by Kerry and Tom, and it's very nice to welcome you back to the Headbangers Ball.
Well, thank you very much.
Now, you look as if you've got the right... This is a guide to what you should wear at Donington when it rains. As you can see, Kerry is sporting the latest attire to keep him warm at Donington, and it wasn't very good conditions for you on stage. How did you cope with that?
It was great for us. It didn't rain until the last song.
So you had a good time?
Oh, it was great.
Yeah? There you go. Okay, it was great. Now, we thought that you guys were having some time off. You deserved a long holiday, so how come you ended up playing at Donington?
That's why, because Donington. We were offered Donington, so we came out of retirement for the year to do Donington and a few other gigs just to warm up for Donington. You know, we did 4 in the States, and we did Mannheim, the Super Rock show in Mannheim, and Poland, Czechoslovakia, and then this.
Yes. Okay.
This was awesome.
It was. I can vouch for that. Now, we have been celebrating a decade of aggression with Slayer. Now, do you see this as closing that decade or kicking off the next 10 years?
Is closing a 10-year?
Yeah. Or start kicking off the next 10 years? Or both, maybe?
Neither. It's just something we did. You know, we put a live record out. It wasn't closing a chapter, starting a new one, or anything. I mean, we just chose time to put a live record out. And that's it. Say something.
Hi.
Now, I have to point out that you had a new drummer on stage with you, Paul Bostoff, who used to be in Forbidden, I believe. Now, were you pleased with the way Paul performed today? He's like a real powerhouse, isn't he?
The whole Castle Donington show was completely awesome. Everything sounded great. Paul was awesome. Tom sang great. Me and Jeff did our stuff. You know, everything clicked. The crowd was into it, and we just ruled the stage. It was great.
Did you feel a responsibility, because you guys are the most extreme band to ever appear at Donington in its 12-year history?
No.
Did you feel like a responsibility to show that you could make it work at a big festival like this?
I think we did. We came across very well.
What was that kind of sound?
They're giving me the giggles. Look, I think we've been talking about it, and I think the best thing is for you to see it. We are going to see Slayer live on stage at Donington, and it is loud. in the interim there, I have managed to compose myself. I'm back with Kerry and Tom from Slayer at Donington, you know by now. And I was wondering, how did you tailor your set specifically for Donington? Was it really just like greatest hits type scenario?
It was more like we had 45 minutes and we had to pick our best 45, you know.
I'll try. we put as many songs as we could get in there, and we only gave Tom 3 chances to talk in between songs, so we could play more tunes. You know, we did no encores. We just rolled songs together. You know, because in that festival situation, we want to play as many tunes as we can.
So it's just like full-on, really aggressive, straight ahead.
Completely full on.
That's what we want. We
Balls out.
We like going out there and just going, thanks, good night. You know?
All right. How have you translated your live show to a larger outdoor stage and obviously a much broader audience? I mean, how do you maintain that intensity, you know, that you do enjoy in like smaller venues?
Doesn't matter if we play in a club,
You just do it.
70,000, we do the same thing every show.
Yeah, you just do it. You go out and do it. It's okay if I fart.
It's rock and roll. So it's really just the same attitude for every show that you play.
It's the same. You go out there and you just do it and hope that nothing fucks up. So.
Would you regard this as one of like the biggest challenges of your career so far?
It's a show. It's just the biggest show I've ever done. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Yes. Awesome is the word of the day, I think. Apart from freezing.
At least when we played, it was awesome. I didn't see everybody, but when we played, it just raged.
Yeah.
Now, as I said earlier, you guys were meant to have some time off. How are you getting on writing the next Slayer album?
Well, we're going home tomorrow. We're going home tomorrow, so after 3 weeks, we'll probably start trying, you know, because we had to work Paul in. So writing stuff took like a backseat for a while. I started coming up with things, and then we started working with Paul, and we had to get things right for the tour. You know, now we'll go home and really get into it.
I mean, there's a lot of like world events going on, very serious stuff happening in the world. Do you think that's going to influence the next album?
Not me, but when he writes, I'm sure it will.
Eric!
Oh! Okay, all right. Okay, so you're going home, you're going to start the writing the next album.
No.
And then...
I will.
Yeah.
Well, okay, Kerry will. All right, okay. Well, that's all we've got time for, okay? That's all we've got time for from Slayer, thank goodness. So I think I better let them get on and party because these guys deserve it. Totally awesome, great show, and there you go. You are going to see more of it now on the Headbangers Ball, and then after the next commercial break, in complete contrast to Slayer, I will be back with Thunder. But here you go with more live Slayer. don't need any introduction. They're one of the most popular bands on Headbangers Ball at MTV Europe. And I'm joined by Sebastian and Snake as well. So it's lovely to see you again, and congratulations for a great show. Did you have fun?
Shucks. Yes, absolutely. I mean, I think you'd have to be dead not to have your heartbeat being pumping by that fucking crowd. Sorry.
That's all right. Yeah. We don't mind swearing.
Oh, you don't?
No.
Oh, yeah, this is UK. Okay, UK, let's play ball!
Very difficult conditions for you out there because it was really windy and wet,
I'm going to do an imitation of somebody. I want you to tell me who this was.
Okay. It was you, yeah, I thought so.
If you were there, you know that was my entrance. I was working on it for a while. I've been taking dancing lessons, and I felt it came off all right.
You didn't hurt yourself.
Just my butt.
Now, look, congratulations are also in order. Sebastian got married a few weeks ago.
Shucks.
Are you? How did that work out? You really happy?
Yeah, have a seat. You're too tall. It worked out great. And you know what sucks? AIDS fucking blows, doesn't it? It's kind of a drag. I think we were all
You don't
lucky.
have to worry about that anymore.
Exactly, because I got checked out 2 weeks and I'm like clean as a whistle.
I can say the same for myself. Thank you. I said.
Because it's a drag because, you know, it's changed a lot of rockers' lifestyles. Because it's like you stick your dick in something and it comes out, it's like sawdust. You know, you're going like, what was up with that?
Excuse me, but we better get back to the subject in hand, I think, actually.
Well, what I was saying is that, you know, if you live that same life as you did in 79 or 80, it's like you come off the road and your tool looks like the back of a frog, you know? It's like green veins, warts. It's like, have I met you? So being someone that, you know, enjoys boning safely, might I add.
Good, thank you for that public service announcement.
See, but my problem is that I don't dig rubbers because, you know, it's kind of not the same.
Okay, and talking of rubbers...
Oh, wait, you're allowed to say that. So my choice, just like George Michael, choose monogamy.
Okay. All right. Well, I was wondering, how did Donington compare? This is changing the subject completely. How did Donington compare to when you supported Guns N' Roses at Wembley Stadium last August?
It's quite a bit colder.
Yes.
Snake, would you like to comment on this?
Say the least. The Guns N' Roses thing was amazing. I mean, because 80,000 people chanting "Get the fuck out" and you're banned from Wembley for life.
Yeah.
Is a pretty awesome. Well, good for him. I mean, he's ballsy motherfucker. Excuse me. So to come back to Donington though and be second on the bill because it's such a prestigious event, and with all the great bands that are on it. I mean, Slayer was the first time I saw him and I was blown away. So I was pretty amped when we went on, and just to be a part of the whole thing with Iron Maiden and everything, I was very psyched. So I think everyone had a really good time. It's like the Ice Capades.
When you refer to the Ice Capades, are you referring... Silence, please. Are you referring to the conditions on the stage being that of ice?
Yeah, referring to your gallant maneuvering across the stage.
I've been taking dancing lessons, what can I say?
Okay, actually, Slayer are particular favourites of yours, aren't they?
Yeah, we talked about that last show. Even I got a memory that good.
Oh, okay. All right. Now, has Donington always been like a goal for you guys?
Absolutely. You know, what I was saying on stage that as of the last like 2 years, heavy metal has been pushed underground again. Like it's like 78 all over, you know? I mean, it takes balls to say you're into heavy metal now, you know? So I think it's good to get the front runner of the band from that age, Iron Maiden, you know? Like fucking, what can I say about the Maiden?
Yeah.
And then, you know, the forerunners of thrash or death metal or whatever, Slayer. And then the forerunners of like short-haired metal, us.
Right.
And then Thunder, who is a classic English band, you know. I think it's really quite a, you know, a cool bill.
It is. Definitely.
Plus that guy in Almighty, Ricky's cute, isn't he?
Yes. I wish I'd seen him all day. I haven't seen him for hours.
Oh, he's sexy.
Yes. Okay. No, I mean, we were just saying then that you got banned from Wembley. Now, people are obviously expecting you to be controversial today, but was it really important to you that the music did the talking today?
It wasn't important at Wembley to be controversial.
Really?
All we did was go out there and read a letter, you know. People make things out of, you know, actions, you know. So it's always our intent to, like, you know, play as good as we can. And
okay, but the method,
and you know, and just go out there and do what we do. If something happens because of it, then that's one thing. But it's not like we go, holy shit, I know this is gonna get me banned. I'm gonna do it. You know, we had no idea that would happen. That would be that uptight. You know, those people, brand council are like pretty fucking wound up. You know.
Well, I thought that was a really good thing you did, because nobody should have the right to censorship like that.
That's
Totally. When you have 80,000 people that are sitting there and on your side.
I got long arms.
When you got 80,000 people that are sitting there and looking at the band and looking at him reading this letter and going, this sucks, this letter sucks, and saying, get the fuck out to the Brent Council. I mean, I don't know how many people in the Brent Council, but there was 80,000 people in Wembley, and I think there's a little bit more in Wembley than there are in the Brent Council. They might be getting their ass kicked soon.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much for that. Now, okay, we're going to... It's as good as Slayer's burp, I have to say. Right now, we are going to talk to Skid Row some more, so please stay tuned. But we're going to see these guys live on stage at Donington, and if you don't mind me coining your phrase, they kicked ass.
I love this woman.
Yes, the Headbangers Ball is rocking backstage at the Donington Monsters of Rock Festival. It's total metal mayhem here. And I'm still with Skid Row, and Sebastian and Snake are with me. And we are not being terribly serious, but I'm going to try and get a more serious stance to this interview right now. Now, you've just released the Donington Gone Wild EP over here. Now, that song could have been written for this event, couldn't it? It's like an anthem.
Yes. The cool thing was about that was, jamming with Rob Halford on the B-side.
Yeah, how did that come about?
Do you know what? Fucking KK Downing is here.
I told you that before the show.
What? Yeah, but fuck, man.
He hasn't played the song since 1979. Doesn't remember it.
I asked him. I bet he does.
I asked him.
That's fucked. If I would have known he was there, man, I'd have made him fucking play it anyways.
That's deliberate.
That's for you, the home viewer. It was great.
It was. Now
good shot. 3D fucking metal mayhem.
Now, Delivering the Goods was the one with Rob Halford.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
Came about, basically, we were in Phoenix, and Rob had been at the show. He lives in Phoenix now or whatnot. And Sebastian's like, dude, we got to do fucking Delivering the Goods. He's like, Rob and me, we're going to wield it together. And we were like, cool. And there happened to be a 24-track truck there, recording the whole thing. So
Just
we were like,
happened to be one driving by and said, hey,
I might stop in that old Skid Row show in Phoenix. So him and Rob got together and figured it out, what parts they're going to do and stuff like that. And we just went up and did it. And it was like, right off the cuff, like no overdubs or anything, as you can tell by my solo. Which is god awful, I might add.
Fuck up.
Crap.
Anyways, the thing about Rob Halford that you don't realize until you stand on the stage with the man is that the fucking monitors. Listen to the ending of the part where he goes. So you couldn't hear that because it was so high that only dogs could hear that. But when you hear him at the end of that, the friggin' monitors are going. It was like his notes are like piercing right through your fucking skull. It's like a vocal lobotomy listening to that guy. So you got to check that out.
Yeah, absolutely. And in the US, you're releasing a 5-track.
And the UK.
And the UK. Well, oh, good. I'm glad to hear that. Okay. Yes. And that's 5-track EP, 5 cover versions. And I have a suspicion that each member of the band chose a song by a group that they were influenced by. Is that right?
Absolutely.
Because you chose Judas Priest.
No, I didn't.
You chose.
No, I didn't. No? I chose Little Wing by Jimi Hendrix.
Right. Who chose Priest?
Well, that got added. See, there's 5 tunes on it, but Scotty picked play that funky music. You guys don't want to hear me sing that.
No. Well,
it's not good. So
well, as it's not on the EP, could you give us a rendition now?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
No, it's not for human consumption.
Okay.
So yeah, it didn't work out. So we needed another tune. So we put the Priest theme on there.
And I guess you chose Kiss.
Absolutely, I had to.
Yes.
Well, I mean,
because Gene Simmons was breathing fire up his balls.
Right. Choose Kiss rock. I mean, growing up and stuff, I mean, I was so influenced by Kiss, as most of us in the band were. And we sit here and still talk about stories when we were like, dude, remember when you were 13 years old and you got your Kiss Army fan club stuff in the mail? And you're like, oh, right on. You went to school with your Kiss lunchbox. And, I mean, you had Kiss Rock and Roll Over stickers on your notebook. And I mean, the whole bit. And the Kiss Love Gun pop gun that came out of the record. And, I mean, it had such an impact on my life that I was like, I got to remember where I started, you know, like what got me into this whole thing. And I remember being like, I don't know, 9 years old, and my brother buying me Dress to Kill and Kiss Alive, and I put on Dress to Kill, and Come On Love Me came out. I was like, oh man, this is massive. So, I mean,
well, actually, when I did an interview with Kiss recently, they spoke very highly of you guys.
No. Did they really?
They did. Anyway,
right on.
Now you've been on tour for like 18 months. How do you guys manage to stop getting like burnt out through such constant touring?
I'd get more burnt out if I was working at a factory, you know? I mean, I know I never fucking forgot what the whole purpose of this was to do, was just to play music every fucking night. And I don't think that being jaded, there's no problem with that with this band. We're about the most unjaded band you could find. Because we really dig it, you know. I just got the poster from Donington. Fucking, I'm gonna get everybody to sign it and shit. You know, I mean, I really get excited about rock and roll, and it really turns me on. So there's no complaining or being burnt out. I mean, if we are burnt out, we don't realize it.
Okay.
Because our bodies, you know.
And it's stuff like this, I mean, it energizes you. I mean, you get the chance to go out and see a bunch of great bands live, and you're like on the side of the stage going, right now, me and him are on the side of the stage during Slayer going, oh, this is fucking heavy, you know?
I was like yelling at Rob going, dude, look at that fucking guy.
Yeah.
Angel of Death!
Yeah.
Okay, very quickly, we're running out of time. What's your plans now?
Go watch Iron Maiden.
And then back home, and then...
Yeah, back home, and then go to Southeast Asia, Taiwan, Taipei, Bangkok.
Around the world.
Japan, and then
we're going to some weird places, man.
Yeah, Bangkok
we're going fucking doing 2 nights in Manila.
Yeah,
it's the Thriller Killer in
Manila.
Okay, well, we've just about run out of time, but I want to say thank you very much for joining me again on Headbangers Ball. It is a pleasure to have you guys, and what's going on here? And that gives you a hint of what's coming up next, because it is more live performance from Skid Row at Donington. And guess what? I think you should really crank it up.
UK, you are the youth! God! But
not adjust your television set. We are controlling the horizontal. We are controlling the vertical. We are controlling all the exits from Junction 23 on the M1. We have controlled and we will maintain throughout the MTV Donington special.
alone. My mind was blank. I needed time to think, to get the memories from my mind. What did I see? Can I believe that what I saw that night was real and not just fantasy? Just what I saw in my old dreams were the reflections of my woman staring back at me. 'Cause in my dreams and nobody's there. In the face that twists and brings me to despair. This
Hi and welcome back to this special Donington Monsters of Rock edition of the Headbangers Ball, and we have reached the climax of tonight's show because it's time to meet headliners Iron Maiden.
Who's had a climax?
And
Who was it? Hey? Had a climax?
Nico and Yannick have joined
Does
me.
Ricky know what you're saying on this here air? Hello, boys and girls. How are all you lucky people? Yes. It's Jan the man. Hello.
No,
Still the good-looking one in the band. Ain't that nice to know?
Now you guys headlined here in 1988, of course, and do you think that that's going to make today's gig even more challenging than it was 4 years ago?
Yeah, I think it's going to be more challenging, yeah. It's perhaps going to be a little different for us because the first time you play somewhere, it's always real nerve-wracking. Not to say that this isn't going to be nerve-wracking for us, because we do suffer rather bad flatulence before gigs, boys and girls, I must add, so keep away from the dressing room with naked lights. Naked people's all right, but...
Naked flames.
And flames. But, yeah, it's going to be, I think, because, you know, it's been 4 years since we were last... Well, we did a little English tour after the Donington 88, and then, of course, we got Jan in the band as well, which is a different lineup for us. We're really kicking and firing on all 4 cylinders, but it's always going to be something special when you play in front of like 50, 60,000 kids in your home territory. So I'm feeling pretty good at the moment. I don't know what, you know, 10 minutes before the show tonight is another story. And we're getting changed for the show, but it's going to be real special, and it's always... So Donington has a mystique about it all of its own compared to any other festival around the world. Not to say they're not as good as in terms of bills and having fun, but there's something about this whole show that's it's insane.
Yeah.
I like things like that.
Now you guys had a big hand in choosing the lineup this year. 3 US acts, 3 British acts. Why did you choose the bands that are on bill?
Everybody got together and just put ideas forward of bands who'd like to actually play on the bill. And there's quite a few that got rejected actually that didn't actually want to do the gig. But I think we got a quite good lineup, and we're very pleased about it and very proud of it.
And it represents the whole spectrum of
Yeah,
rock.
you've got thrash, you've got rock and roll, you've
yeah.
got the kind of stuff that Thunder do, which is kind of in the middle, which I think is great. And you've got us doing our thing, which is good too. So there's a bit for everybody.
That's right.
Something for everybody, ain't it?
Oh, a little bit of rock and roll.
Let's have a bit of rock trivia.
I don't know if there's any jazz in there, do what?
Let's have a bit of rock trivia because Yannick played here with Gillan.
Yes,
so it's
that's right.
not his first Donington appearance, but his first with Iron Maiden.
Yeah. That's right. So what are the lucky boys and girls going to win? Answers on a self-stamped address envelope. 2, where? Headbangers Ball.
This is all going to be edited out.
They're running a competition, aren't you?
No.
Oh my God! Oh well, I forgot I said that.
Well, if you offer us the prize, we could run one.
Okay, yeah. What kind of prize?
One of your drum kits, Nick.
I will, yeah. Oh no, you can have my old stage boots.
Oh, you don't want them. Nobody wants
really?
them. Really?
I don't want them. That's right.
I saw you play at the Super Rock in Germany, and it seems that you're really enjoying the live environment more than ever. You seem to have a really good morale in the band. Is that like kind of the most enjoyable aspect of Maiden for you now?
Oh yeah, for me most definitely. I mean, Jan was probably...
I love to play live, and that's something why everybody does it anyhow, to actually play live.
Yeah, it's definitely... I mean, it's 2 tours, excuse me, sorry. It's 2 tours for Jan, it's his second tour, but I think even from the first one, which we had great fun on as well, when No Prayer for the Dying with Jan, this one is really, from everybody else's point of view as well, not just for what I'm saying, it's the best tour we've ever had. For fun and energy, and we're playing the best we've ever played. And people probably think, you can't be serious, you're really good all the time, right?
No.
And please.
I witnessed you at
really
Mannheim, and you were just having such a good time. Yannick and Dave were like sparring with each other. It was just really cool.
Fun. You know, to me, that's what a rock and roll gig should be. It should be fun. I think people forgot about that for a while, and it's back. We're having good fun.
That's right.
Now, how on earth did you go about choosing the set for this show? Because you've got so much material, of course, the new album, Fear of the Dark.
Well, what we did was, when we went to America and South America, well, we had 2 different shows. We had the American show, because we only usually play, an hour and 35 minutes, an hour 40. And we get to play around an hour 50, 55 to 2 hours, you know, in Europe and everywhere else. So what we did was we kept the same show format that we had in America, and we put in originally 4 songs, didn't we? And we found that we were running a little bit longer than we needed to, so we pulled one of them out, and we just added an extra 3 songs. The way we kind of chose them were that for the set was something off of each album that Maiden's done. There's a couple off of 1 or 2 of the albums, you know, but to try and make a cross section of everything that Maiden's done, we took at least 1 song from each album.
And what you're trying to do also is to make the whole concert work together. So the songs, pardon me, you can pick songs that perhaps people feel are not the best songs, but they work best in that set. So you're actually aiming for a set that fits together and, you know, gets better and better, and sort of there's a crescendo at the end, a climax.
Hey, that's the second time that word's been used tonight. Hey.
It is. So what do you want this performance at Donington to say about Iron Maiden in 1992?
We're back.
You climaxed.
We
Not
climaxed.
We climaxed together.
Together. Yeah, I think it's really, you know, a decade down the road really now. So, say Number of the Beast was the sort of, you know, if you look at the success of the band, and it's 10 years later down the road, and we've kind of, it's like a revived band. Well, revived is not maybe the word, but it's like definitely a stronger band than it has ever been. And I think some people, you know, some of your critics kind of look at you and go, oh, you're getting on a bit past it, you know. And I think what tonight's going to do is it's going to be like we told you.
She fell in love with this crazy machine. She leaned over while his kids started bleeding. She'll never see the beast before, but she left that wine in a bottle. When she was walking on down the road, she heard a W.A.S.P. He whispered to her to get on the bed. She came from a ride from eternity. How? Ain't a bad place. Hell is from here to eternity. How? Ain't a bad place. Hell is from here to eternity. She must be having one of her crazy dreams. She never said on a piece so weird. Made her feel like she's on cloud 9. She even thought she heard the engine sigh. But then her dreams had come to an end. They took her time like a dead man. The beast and shot of me were 2 of a kind. They always take a line from here to eternity. Ow! Ain't a bad place. And it's from here to eternity. You do it. Ow! Yeah! Hell is from here to eternity. Come on. Ow! Ain't a bad place. Hell is from here to eternity. Yeah! Ow! Hey! It looks pretty fucking special out there tonight to me, Donington, yeah! Alright, let me see everybody's hands out there. Whoa! Alright. Wow. Say, ow! Ain't a bad place. Hell is from here to eternity. Come on! One more, come on! Yeah?
know that Yannick contributed a tremendous amount towards the morale of the band when he first joined, but that's obviously had like a follow-on effect on the album as well, hasn't it?
Yes, I mean it's one of those things that happens naturally, really, if somebody vibes everybody up, and also a lot of the material that he wrote, I think, added an extra little bit of spark to everything, and it's not just on this album. I think it kind of goes across all the material, like when we play live too. Like the old songs get a kick up the arse from it,
Yeah. Well, I saw you guys on stage at the Super Rock in Germany, and you just seem to be having just such a good time, just like really enjoying it. So would you say your morale's at like a really high point at the moment?
Yeah, I'd say that it's, I mean, we're just enjoying it, and I think it's probably the best tour we've done so far, really, as far as like the enjoyment of playing and everything else. It's just really, I don't know, it just seems to be gelling really well.
It's getting better all the time. I mean, we've been out for a couple of months now touring, and every night it's just getting better and better.
Great. Okay. The last LP had like a very live feel production-wise, but for Fear of the Dark it seems to be sort of much more produced. Why did you change tack there?
I think really because we wanted to get a bigger drum sound and all that, and we weren't really that happy with the drum sound on the last album. Although it's very live sounding, and that is pretty much Nico's live sound, I suppose, because he likes to tune it very tight. But we just decided to go for a much bigger, fatter drum sound, and it just makes everything sound bigger.
You take my life, but I'll take yours too. You fight the musket, but I'll run you through. So when you're waiting for the next attack, you better stand. There's no time to wait.
There are two songs that I'd like to highlight on the album that I felt were very different for Iron Maiden. Weekend Warrior seems to be lyrically very different, and Wasting Love musically very different. Could you perhaps talk a little bit about those two songs and what inspired them?
Yeah, Weekend Warrior, I mean, I wrote the lyrics to that. It was just really about football hooligans or the lack of them these days. But it was also just saying about the different social pressure you get when you're in some sort of group or gang or whatever, even from like really young. You know, it's sort of really difficult to sort of leave a gang or whatever, you know, sort of pressure or whatever from the others in it. And I think most kids sort of go through that, you know, sort of stage or whatever. And yeah, I mean, I didn't really think at the time that it was that different a lyric really, but you know, a lot of people have said so since. I suppose it must have been.
And what about Wasting Love? Is that really a song more about how much you can hurt yourself rather than somebody that you've hurt?
Well, both actually, because there's so much. I mean, because when I was sort of from about 21 to whatever, you know, I spent an awful lot of time pursuing women, and because I'm in this particular job, you know, in most cases it wasn't particularly difficult, and having found somebody that I'm very happy with now just made me realise what an awful waste of time the whole thing was.
Right.
And that there was so much more you could have been doing, and there was so much of your life was involved in this sort of frantic pursuit of people who didn't really care who you were. They were just going to bed with you because, you know, it was another notch on their gun the same way as another notch on yours, you know. And so this idea that you know, and this idea that you could change, you did actually have the ability to change it. You weren't completely helpless, you know. It wasn't this idea that, you know, it's just something I've got to do because a man's got to do what a man's got to do. It's absolute crap, you know. You can change it, and you actually end up happier as a result of it. And that's what Wasting Love's all about. I wanted to make the song kind of melancholy, but not gloomy, you know. Because you know that was the vibe I wanted to do with it. So that hence there's some really pretty bits in it, as well as some quite sort of moody bits.
Maybe one day I'll be an honest man. Up till now I'm doing the best I can, yeah. Long roads, long days of sunrise to sunset, of sunrise to sunset. You dream on, brothers, while you can. You dream on, sister, I hope you find the one. All of our lives covered up quickly by the tides of time. Your days full of emptiness. Spend your years full of loneliness. Wasting brothers while you can. You dream on, sister, I hope you find the one, yeah. All of our lives covered up quickly by the tides of time. The sands are flowing and the lines are in your hand. In your eyes I see the hunger and the desperate cry that tears the night. Spend your days full of emptiness. Spend your years full of loneliness. Wasting love in a desperate caress. Rolling shadows of
Okay, with Iron Maiden in the background, that's just about it for this special Donington Monsters of Rock edition of the Headbangers Ball. We've been coming here every year for the last 4 years and it just seems to get bigger and better. I hope you agree. I hope you enjoyed the live performances and the interviews, and I've certainly enjoyed being here. Now next week I'm going to be back in the studio. We've got loads of brand new videos for you, loads of new album releases to talk about, so I hope you'll join me there. But for now, this is Vanessa Warwick signing off from Donington Monsters of Rock, and I'll see you next week. Bye bye.
Whoa.